Hello everyone, this is part 7 video on past year NEET questions from the topic equilibrium. We look at the first question. This is a question that has come in the year 2005. At 25 degrees centigrade, the dissociation constant of the base BOH is given as 1 into 10 power minus 12. The concentration of hydroxyl ions in 0.01 molar aqueous solution of the base would be, means what is given to us, the concentration of the base is given, that is 0.01 molar. Other than that, they have given us the Kb value. So dissociation constant Kb value is given to be 1 into 10 power minus 12. So if you look at the dissociation of this is a monoacidic base BOH type. So this is what we analyze in the standard Ostwald's law for finding the alpha value. So if you have initial concentration of the base is C, and if alpha is the degree of dissociation, then the amount that is going to be dissociated will be C into alpha. So the remaining amount is what? Original amount C minus dissociation amount is C alpha. And since every one base molecule gives one B plus ion and one OH minus ion, right? The amount of B plus formed, whatever is the amount of the base consumed, same amount of the B plus will be formed, means C alpha will be formed. Whatever is the amount of base consumed, same amount of hydroxyl ions also will be formed, C alpha. So what we see is the value of OH minus concentration. That's what we have to find here. What do we need to find? We need to find the concentration of OH minus. So concentration of OH minus is what? C alpha. And as per the Ostwald's dilution law formula, right? So we are not deriving it. So assuming, because in some of the previous problems we already derived it. So alpha will be equal to what? Root of Kb by C. Which means if we have OH minus is C into alpha, which will be equal to what? C into root of Kb by C, which will be equal to what? Root of Kb into C. So this is the OH minus concentration. So the OH minus concentration will be what? Root of Kb into C. Kb is what? 1 in 10 power minus 12. C is 0.01. 0.01 can be written as what? 10 power minus 2. So totally what is there? 10 power minus 12 into 10 power minus 2 will be 10 power minus 14. So root of 10 power minus 14 will be 10 to the power of minus 7. So the concentration of hydroxyl ions will be what? 1 into 10 power minus 7. Let's look at a question that has come in 2005 again. So this is a question related to the qualitative analysis of the cations. H2S gas, when passed through a solution of cations containing HCl, precipitates of the cations of second group of qualitative analysis, but not those belonging to the fourth group are formed. It is because of. So first we need to understand what is this, first group, second group, third group, fourth group. So we have totally 5 groups of cations. Maybe in the qualitative analysis chapter, right, we will be able to look at that. But yeah, so these are these groups. What are the first group cations? It is silver, lead and then mercury. Then we have second group. Second group is what? Arsenic, bismuth, cadmium, copper. Then we have the third group, which is cobalt, iron. We have fourth group, magnesium, calcium, strontium. Fifth group is what? The alkali metals like lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and ammonium ion. So these are the different set of the reason why they are classified is because the analysis steps will be pertaining to the respective categories. So the analysis step for the group 1 will have a certain procedure. So group 2 will have a different procedure and so on. So if you look at why the group 2 cations are able to form. So precipitate means what? They will form the respective sulfide. They will be forming the respective sulfide. So group 2 will form the sulfides and group 4 will not form the sulfides. See, when you have H2S gas dissolved along with HCl, right, there is a common ion effect. So HCl would have already produced H plus ions, and H2S on dissociation will produce what again? H plus and sulfide ions. So because of the common ion effect, what happens is this reaction is pushed backwards, equilibrium. Means the concentration of sulfide ions is depressed. We can say, it is lowered. As a result of it, what we see is only the group 2 sulfides will be able to form, because remember, the formation of a precipitate will depend upon the solubility product. The formation of a precipitate will depend upon the solubility product. So whichever salts are having a lesser solubility product, they would be precipitating first. So which means what? Here broadly looking at it, group 2 will have a lesser solubility product than the group 4. Since we were having only a lesser concentration of sulfide ion because of the common effect, right? So at the low concentrations of sulfide ions, we see that only group 2 will be precipitating because their solubility product values will be what? The solubility product values of the group 2 will be broadly lesser than the solubility product of the group 4. So what is the reason for this? The reason is presence of the HCl will decrease the sulfide ion concentration because of the common ion effect, and that is the reason why only we have group 2 forming the precipitate and not group 4. So if you look at option B, I mean we got the answer, but look at option B. Option B saying what? Solubility product of group 2 is more than group 4. This is incorrect. In fact, it is the reverse. Option C is what? Presence of HCl increases the sulfide ion concentration. No, because of the common ion effect, it is going to decrease the sulfide ion concentration. Here, what is the common ion? H plus ions are the common ions. Option D is saying what? Sulfides of group 4 cations are unstable in HCl. No, this is not about the stability. This is about where we will form the precipitate. So the correct answer for this is option A. Next, we have another question that has come in the year 2005. This is a straight question. This is a straight question based on the equilibrium constant modification. So look at this. The equilibrium constants K1 and K2 for the following equilibria. First is what? NO plus half O2 gives rise to NO2. For that, the equilibrium constant is what? K1. Second is what? 2NO2 gives rise to 2NO plus O2. The equilibrium constant for this is K2. So we have to find what is the relation between the two. So what we will do, simply we will write down these values. So what will be K1? So if we consider, we can consider it to be Kp or the Kc. So if you consider it to be Kp, right, what will be the equilibrium constant K value? Pressure of NO2 by pressure of NO into pressure of O2 power half. Why power half will come? Because the factor here is half. Similarly, what is going to be the K2 value? Pressure of NO the square, y square will come because we have a factor 2 into pressure of O2 divided by pressure of NO2, again the square will come. Here also we have a factor 2. So if you just look at these two expressions, right, what is the relation that we can see between them? The value of K2 will be equal to, so if you take 1 by K1, so what is 1 by K1? 1 by K1 will be pressure of NO into pressure of O2 power half divided by pressure of NO2. Okay, so if you take 1 by K1 and square it, so which is going to give us the K2 value, which means what? K2 is equal to 1 by K1 square. So correct answer for this is option A. So all we are doing is we are just writing down the expressions of the equilibrium constant and seeing what is the relation between them. Next we have a question in 2004. This is on the solubility product. Solubility product of a sparingly soluble salt AX2 is 3.2 into 10 power minus 11. Its solubility in moles per liter, means they are asking us what? They are asking what is the molar solubility. Yes, they are asking us what is the molar solubility. Yes, remember, the molar solubility will depend upon what is the formula for the salt. So if you look at the solubility of this particular type of salt AX2, right, it is going to give us what? 1 A ion and 2 X minus ions. So if S is the molar solubility, right, if S is the molar solubility, then as per the equation, every one particle of AX2 is giving us what? 1 A ion and 2 X minus ions. Means if S is the molar solubility, these many moles of the salt are getting dissolved per liter. Means the concentration of A ions will be equal to what? S. Whereas the concentration of X minus ions will be what? 2S. Why 2S? Because we can see for every one particle of AX2 we are getting 2 particles of X minus. Now what is the KSP formula? Remember, KSP formula is what? The concentration of the respective ions raised to the suitable powers. The concentration of respective ions raised to the suitable power. So here the A ion, what is the coefficient? 1. So power will be 1. X minus ion, what is the coefficient? 2. So we have to raise it by 2. So A ion is what? S. X ion is what? 2S. So 2S the whole square, means totally it is what? 4S cube will come. So KSP is given to us, right? 3.2 in 10 power minus 11. So Ksp is 4s cube, which means if you bring the 4 this side, 3.2 by 4 is what? 0.8. So s cube is 0.8 in 10 power minus 11. We can write it as what? 8 in 10 power minus 12. Why? Because we see that we have to take a cube root here, and cube root of 8 is equal to what? 2. So if you write this, then s value will be equal to what? Cube root of this 8 into 10 power minus 12. Means what? This is cube root of 8 into cube root of 10 power minus 12. Cube root of 8 is what? 2. So 10 power minus 12, this is like whole power 1 by 3, which is what? 2 into 10 power minus 4. So what is the molar solubility value? 2 into 10 power minus 4. This is a straight formula question. So depending upon the salt type, we'll have a particular relation between the solubility product Ksp value and molar solubility S. So quite often we see these kind of questions in the NEET. Next we have another formula question. The rapid change of pH near the stoichiometric point of an acid-base titration is the basis of the indicator detection. The pH of solution is related to the ratio of the concentration of the conjugate acid. What is the acid? HIN and base. Because remember, as per the Bronsted-Lowry theory, right, what is this conjugate acid-base concept? If you have an acid, we remove the H plus from the acid, right, then that is going to give us what? This is the acid part and this is the base part. From any substance, removing H plus will give us the conjugate base and adding H plus will give us the conjugate acid. Okay, so what we have is the conjugate acid is HIN and conjugate base is what? IN minus indicator. Basically IN represents what? Indicator. Okay, forms of the indicator by the expression. Means we have to find the relation between the pH value and the concentrations of the conjugate acid and base of the indicator. So if you look at it, right, this is just like the pH of solution which contains an acid and its salt, or the ions of the acid. So if you look at what is the formula, pH value will be equal to what? pKa plus log of salt by acid. Means here we can say it as what? pH is equal to pKa means what? pK of the indicator. So pK of the indicator acid plus log, in case of salt we are going to having what? The anions of the indicator, IN minus divided by HIN. So here we are looking at what? The formula for log of IN minus by HIN, right, which is going to be what? pH minus pK indicator will be equal to what? Log of IN minus by HIN. So this is the formula we have. So what is the correct answer for this? It is option D. It's a straight formula question. Next we have a question based on the analysis of the equilibrium. This is a question that has come in the year 2003. In Haber process, 30 liters of dihydrogen and 30 liters of dinitrogen. Dihydrogen means what? H2. Dinitrogen means what? N2. So both of them are taken as what? 30 liters. Were taken for the reaction which yielded only 50% of the expected product. So how much product is coming? Only 50% of the expected product is actually coming. Okay. Then what will be the composition of the gaseous mixture under the aforesaid condition in the end? Means there's a little bit of terminology that they are mentioning. Aforesaid means whatever the condition that they're talking about. So let's just first write down what? The equation. What is the equation? The Haber's process is what? 3 moles of H2 plus 1 mole of N2 gives rise to what? 2 mole of ammonia. This is the balanced equation for the Haber's process. Now what we see is while this is a gas phase reaction, the number of moles will be proportional to the volume, which means what? Assuming we are talking about the constant conditions of temperature and pressure. So volume will be proportional to number of moles. So we can say if we have, say for example, 3 volumes of this, we will combine with 1 volume of this to produce 2 volumes. So this is the relation. Now what is the given amounts to us? Given amounts are what? 30 liters of this is given and 30 liters of dinitrogen is given. We have to find out at equilibrium what is the composition, but what is the condition? only 50% of the expected product is formed. See, first we need to find what is the expected product. So what will be the expected product? If you check it up, right, we must have hydrogen and nitrogen in this ratio, 3 volumes is to 1 volume. But here what are we having? We are having 30 liters, and that is also what 30 liters means. If you look at the complete conversion, right, so here 30 liters, if you consume 30 liters, right, then here we will be consuming only 10 liters, and as a result we are going to be producing what, 20 liters. Means if we go for the complete reaction, right, what we are going to be having, 0 liters of H2 and 20 liters of N2 and 20 liters of the ammonia. So this is what we will be having in terms of the volume. So what we see here is that the reaction, right, we must find out not for the complete combustion or complete reaction, but for the 50% yield. Means what? See, complete means 30 liters of this will be consumed, 10 liters of this will be consumed. 50% yield means what? We are going to be consuming only half of this. Means, you know, what is half of 30 liters? Means 15 liters will be consumed. Half of this will be consumed. Means what? It will be only 5 liters that will be consumed. And half of this will be formed, which means what? Only 10 liters will be formed. So as a result of it, right, what is the final volumes remaining? Only 15 is consumed. So we'll have what? 30 minus 15, which will be equal to 15. Okay. Here 30 is there. Only 5 is consumed. Means we'll have what? 25. 30 minus 5, 25. And here we are going to be forming what? 10. So what is the final composition? We'll have 15 liters. We'll be having what? 15 liters of hydrogen and 10 liters of ammonia and 25 liters of nitrogen. 50 liters of hydrogen, 25 liters of nitrogen and 10 liters of ammonia. So what is the correct answer for this? Option B. So what are we doing? We are first finding out what is the complete reaction means. And now we are talking about only 50% yield. Means whatever is the complete scenario, only 50% of the amount will be the consumption amount on the reactant side. Whatever is the product formed, only the 50% of that will be the actual product formed. Next we have a question in 2003. This is based on the significance of reaction quotient Q. So the reaction quotient Q for the reaction N2 plus 3H2 gives rise to 2NH3 is given by Q is equal to what? Ammonia concentration power 2 divided by nitrogen concentration into hydrogen concentration power 3. Now understand one thing, that the reaction quotient, right, will have the same formula as the equilibrium constant, but the difference is what? In the Q formula, the concentrations are partial pressures, because like the way we have Kp and Kc, we can also call it as what? Qc and Qp. The concentrations or the partial pressures, right, are taken at any given stage. So means, you know, we will consider the same formula will be there, but we can substitute the values of the concentrations or the partial pressures at any given stage. Means, you know, this is going to help us in predicting what is the direction in which the reaction is going to proceed. So they are asking a scenario. What is it? The reaction will proceed from right to left. Means, you know, they want, so right to left means what? We have reactants on the left side. That is the normal understanding we will be having, and we will be having products on the right side. So the left side is what? Reactants, and right side is what? Products. What they are expecting us? They are expecting us that, you know, the reaction is going to proceed from right side to left side. Means they are talking about backward. They are talking about what? Backward. So when, you know, the backward process is going to happen, if you have Q value less than Kc, then, you know, the equilibrium is still not achieved. The Q value, right, if you look at the Q expression, it will be having what? Like in this formula, Q generally will have product concentration in the numerator and reactant concentrations in the denominator. Q value less than Kc means what? The product is still lesser proportion than what is in the equilibrium stage. Means Q less than Kc means from that stage we will still keep moving in the forward direction. equilibrium Q will be equal to what? Kc. Means we already attained the same proportion as the equilibrium concentrations. If we have Q more than Kc, Q is more than Kc, right? Means what? The product amount is in higher proportion than what is at the equilibrium stage, and that will happen because of adding more product, etc. So from that stage, right, what must happen? The reaction must proceed in the backward direction. So what is the scenario we should be having for the reaction to proceed from right side to left side? We should have Q more than Kc. So the correct answer is option C.